This is your weekly report on corruption in the Philippine government. Two village officials here are facing a 10-month suspension for the delay in the release of the honoraria, salaries, and other benefits of their councillors and other barangay workers in 2021 and 2022. The Sangguniang Panlungs had adopted a Committee on Laws, Ordinances and Good Government decision to suspend Barangay 16 Captain Joseph de los Santos and Treasurer Rachel Jamanda. Councillor Al Victor Espino, the committee chairman, said de los Santos and Jamanda should be suspended for grave abuse of authority, grave misconduct, serious dishonesty and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service. They were also cited for grave misconduct, serious dishonesty and conduct prejudicial to the best interest of the service for falsifying the 2021 annual budget of Barangay 16. The administrative case was filed by Barangay 16 councillors and the Sangguniang Kapitan chairman. The Commission on Audit has affirmed the 11.6 million peso liability of the Davao City District Engineering Office and a contractor in the irregular and haphazard road safety projects done from 2009 to 2012. In 2014, COA issued the 11.6 million peso notice of disallowance to DCDEO of the Department of Public Works and Highways. The ND was appealed by engineer Lonati Ricardo of DCDEO. Records showed that DPWH DCDEO undertook 15 traffic safety projects with a total project cost of 289,500,000 pesos from March 6, 2009 to March 12, 2012. The projects were all awarded to Igadiela Construction, a single proprietorship based in Quezon City. However, COA said its special audit team found that the construction was done in a manner that deviates or departs from, or which does not comply with the standards set by the DPWH. It said the SAT found that the construction of the guardrails, road signs, and foundation blocks was substandard and deficient. The reflective pavement studs were also of inferior quality and overpriced, it said. At the same time, COA said that the SAT found that the cost of materials and labor was unreasonably high and beyond just measure of amount. The total amount disallowed was 11.6 million pesos, it said. In the appeal, Ricardo told COA that there was no criteria or standard set in determining the disallowance. COA found the appeal bereft of merit. COA ruled that the projects were indeed implemented in an irregular and haphazard manner, and the petitioners, Ricardo and DCDEO, failed to refute it. The COA affirmed that the contractor was liable for the transaction, as well as the other persons held liable under the notice of disallowance. A barangay kagawad was shot dead by a motorcycle-riding gunman along Arbasa Street in Barangay 54, San Roque on Sunday, December 11, 2022. Police Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Corpus, local police chief, identified the slain victim as Philemon Ambrosio Jr., 50. A report revealed the victim was driving his motorcycle with his live-in partner Susan Alejo as back rider when he was shot dead by the suspect on board a Yamaha Mio motorcycle at around 7:57 am. Footage from a CCTV camera showed the suspect to be between 5 feet 2 inches to 5 feet 5 inches in height and was clad in white shirt, black jacket, bull cap and mayoon pants. Local authorities led by local police chief Corpus are now conducting a massive investigation and manhunt operation for the immediate arrest of the suspect. The Sandigan has convicted former Department of Public Works and Highways Regional Director Robert G. Lala, former Lapu-Lapu City Mayor Arturo O. Radaza, and 11 others of graft in the 83.935 million peso contract for a street lighting project. The street lighting project was undertaken in Lapu-Lapu City for the 12th Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit, which Cebu hosted from January 9 to 15 in 2007. They were sentenced to 6 to 10 years imprisonment with perpetual disqualification from holding public office. Their guild was established in the award of contracted number 06HO0050 on February 6, 2007 for the supply and installation of street lighting facilities amounting to 83,935,000 pesos. The prosecution said that the contract was in excess of 18,045,890 pesos, since its computation for the project was only 65,889,109 pesos. At the same time, no public bidding was done for the project, it said. The Sandiganbayan's 7th Division found credence in the prosecution's evidence and held that all the accused were accountable for graft. The court did not give weight to the accused's defense that they were pressed for time and had to resort to an alternative mode of procurement to ensure the safety and security of the ASEAN summit delegates who will be using the roads. The totality of the evidence gives the impression that accused themselves created a situation where they will appear to be pressed for time to give the alleged procurement a semblance of legitimacy, the court said. It pointed out that Brazza already knew of the summit-related projects as early as August 25, 2006 and has already been preparing for it. The prosecution was able to establish the presence of collusion between and among the accused in making it appear that the preparation for the procurement and the award of 83,935,000 peso contract to FABMIK was regular, proper, and legal, through a bogus negotiated procurement done with manifest partiality in favor of Brazza and evident bad faith to the detriment of the public, it said. The issue of overpricing, the court said, has been rendered immaterial given the evidence pointing towards the collusion of the accused. The Quezon City government announced on Tuesday, December 13, that its People Law Enforcement Board has dismissed the police officer from Manila who shot and killed a traffic enforcer who was helping a motorcycle rider in the city in October. The PLEBQC removed from service Lieutenant Felix Berto Tikwil of the Manila Police District Anti-Carnapping Unit for grave misconduct and conduct unbecoming of a police officer, charges which were filed by the common law wife of Edgar Abad Filero, the slain traffic enforcer, and the person he assisted when the incident happened. The 6-page decision of the QCPLEB was released on Tuesday, December 13. The city government said, the shooting incident occurred in front of Muñoz Market along Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, Barangay, Veterans Village in Quezon City at around 3:40 a.m. on October 13. Filero, a resident of Novaliches, Quezon City, and a member of the QC Department of Public Order and Safety, DPOS, was helping his friend, Paul Timothy de los Reyes, a delivery rider, whose motorcycle broke down in Pandacan, Manila. The Quezon City Police District said that when the traffic enforcer and the delivery rider reached Muñoz Market, Tikwil suddenly approached and shot the victim on the body. Filero still managed to ask for help from police officers who were on duty in the area. The cops immediately arrested Tikwil and recovered a 9mm G17 Gen 4 handgun loaded with 11 bullets. Filero was rushed to the Quezon City General Hospital where he was declared dead on arrival, according to the police. The local government said the PLEBQC did not buy the suspect's defense that he thought the victim and his friend were carnappers. We do not buy the alibi of Tikwil that he shot Filero because of self-defense. He claims to be a seasoned police officer, and yet at the slightest instance, his first instinct is to inflict a mortal wound against an innocent person. PLEB Executive Officer Rafael Calinazan said, this is a clear violation of the PNP rules of procedure. Further, Tikwil also claims to have chased the victims from Naglahan, Manila up to Roosevelt, Quezon City. How can people pushing a defective motorcycle outrun a seasoned cop on a motorbike? We are more than convinced that Tikwil was not being truthful in his narrative of what happened, he added. Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmont said that Tikwil's dismissal should serve as a warning to road cops that they will be held accountable in the city. A policeman is facing homicide charges after a theft suspect he arrested died 3 hours later in Mazin City. Corporal Ronald Gamayan of the Mazin City Police Station is currently being investigated in relation to the death of Gilbert Dog Rains in the evening on Friday, December 9. Based on the investigation, Rains, 32, was caught by bystanders after he allegedly ran away with an iPhone S cellular phone worth 50,000 pesos from a certain Sharon Gloria Daclin at around 7 p.m. on Friday, December 9. After Rains was apprehended, he was turned over to Gamayan along with the recovered cellular phone. Rains was then brought to the Mazin City Police for proper disposition. At around 10 p.m. of the same day, Rains had difficulty breathing and was immediately rushed to the hospital. An hour later, Rains died. Dr. April Jervy Macabuhay of the Urban Rural Health Unit of Mazin City declared that the cause of Rains' death was severe head trauma. In her examinations, Macabuhay found hematoma and multiple abrasions in Rains' body. Police investigators approached the family of Rains and informed them about the ongoing probe. The police said a criminal case is set to be filed against Gamayan in court as soon as the supporting documents and evidence are completed. The Sandigan Bayan has convicted Angelo Timoteo P. Molina, former ex officio member of the Sangguniang Panloloygan of Camarines Norte, after he pleaded guilty to liquidate public funds within the period required by law. Molina was found guilty of violating Article 218 of the revised Penal Code, in relation to Section 89 of Presidential Decree No. 1445, the Government Auditing Code of the Philippines. He was sentenced to pay a fine of 1,000 pesos and was held civilly liable for 25,571 pesos, which he has to return to the provincial government. The amount represented his cash advances for local travels in 2007. A former member of the Philippine Army and his live-in partner were arrested in a buy-bust operation in Naga City in Camarines Sur Province on Tuesday night. Police Senior Master Sergeant Tobias Bongan, Naga City Police spokesperson, said Wednesday, December 14th, that John Mark Brizo, 39, and Charmaine Joy Madamba, 41, sold at 11:51 p.m. a sachet of shabu worth 2,500 pesos in Barangay Santa Cruz. A total of 2 grams worth 13,600 pesos of shabu were confiscated from the suspects. Bongan said Brizo left the service in 2015 due to several administrative cases. Both suspects were in police custody and will face charges for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. 2 persons, including the son of a town mayor, were killed, while 2 others were injured in a gun attack Tuesday night in Sultan Kudarat, police said Wednesday. Police Captain Leonel Delazan, Lieutenant Police Chief, said Datu Naga Mangudadatu, 30, a defeated vice-mayoral aspirant of the town in Maguindanao del Sur, and Dennis Haji Dorp, 25, of Barangay Payton, were shot at 6:30 p.m. at the town's public market. Datu Naga, son of Lieutenant Mayor and former provincial governor Mayor Pax Mangudadatu, was sitting in front of his business establishment at the town market when the suspects arrived on board a pickup vehicle and opened fire, said Colonel Lina Capellan, speaking for the police in Sultan Kudarat Provincial Police Office. Datu Naga, a resident of Barangay Tamnag and a younger brother of former Sultan Kudarat Governor Suharto Teng Mangudadatu, was declared dead by physicians in a Coronadal City hospital. Dorp, Naga's employee and confidant, died while undergoing medication. Plunder, graft and corruption charges, among others, have been filed against 15 individuals, including former and incumbent Cebu City government officials, before the Office of the Ombudsman Visayas over the controversial 239 million peso garbage collection deal. The deal was signed by the Cebu City government and Dochouse Construction and J&J Construction and General Supply for the collection, hauling, and dumping of Cebu City's garbage. The charges were filed by the National Bureau of Investigation Central Visayas on December 14, 2022 after the agency found out that there were unlawful acts committed such as overbilling, padding and ghost garbage deliveries and carrying out the garbage collection deal. The Commission on Elections has disqualified Cagayan Governor Manuel Mamba in the 20th of May 22 national and local elections for violation of Omnibus Election Code in connection with the disbursement of public funds during the campaign season. In an 18-page decision, the COMELEC 2nd Division granted the petition filed by Madam Zara Rose de Guzman Lara, also a gubernatorial candidate in the province during the last polls, accusing the elected official for allegedly using provincial government funds under the No Barangay Left Behind programs and or No Town Left Behind and Oplan Help in Barangay. The petitioner also claimed that respondent distributed a total of 550 million pesos to all registered voters of Cagayan, where each voter received 1,000 pesos under the Crusada Against Corruption program. In its decision, which was promulgated on December 14, the 2nd Division found the respondent of violating a provision of the OEC based on the pieces of evidence presented by Lara. Under Section 2 of the said resolution, it prohibits public officials or employees, village officials and those corporations owned or controlled by government and their subsidiaries, to discharge, disburse or spend any public funds from the 25th of March, 2022 to May 8, 2022 under the provisions stated. The COMELEC added that despite having a certificate of exception under Section 13 of COMELEC Resolution No. 10747, such an exemption applies only to NILB and on the condition that the amount paid during the 45-day restriction must be submitted, and no exemptions were provided for the barangay assistance and KKK programs. That's all for this week. I'll see you next week with more stories of corruption and foolishness within the Philippine government.